Monday, rest day. This will be going forward, which is already reaping the rewards, and I'm getting a lot of work done on my laptop that I wouldn't normally do for Monday morning, which would typically be spent training, the bit to protect the body a little bit more, but also just see how things run. I've been up since probably 4:30, not the best night's sleep, but we move. No coffee today either. That'll be 2 days on the run without coffee, which I'm pretty pleased about. 4 classes this morning, bit of a break this afternoon, get some food in the system, more work on the laptop, and then 3 more classes this evening. Fun, packed Monday. One of the better elements of this journey is being able to check for accommodation where we'll stay over the weekend. Obviously, because there's a big group of us, we get to find ourselves a nice big property, ideally a bedroom each, and something we like the look of. So I'll show you that now. You can pick your own favourite. Number 1, they're all within reasonable vicinity to the actual venue, which is apparently situated quite far away from Brisbane itself, but oh well, this is quite an aesthetically pleasing home though, nice and spacious. Bedrooms look good too, don't mind that one. Second one, big, spacious, it looks more like a house, this one, like a family house. Well, they obviously all are, but still a little bit more old-fashioned, I'd say. But again, a nice big property, spacious, just probably a bit behind the times. Last one, which I think this one might be a few people's favourites. Starts with the pool in the back. I mean, that's going to be nice. It's going to be winter, so it's not going to be the warmest, but it might be good for a cold therapy. Pool table, views of the city, and a little bit more scenic, just all around. So current options are not bad to choose from. Which would you pick? I think I would go for, based on practicality, maybe the first one. Last one's a little bit more expensive, but looks the nicest. Flights next. Whoops, naughty. Sometimes I'll have a busy mind as I'm leaving for morning coaching. I'll just end up forgetting the overnight oats, which are a staple to my diet of the morning, which is easily 11 to 1200 calories, which I would have banked. So, trip to McDonald's, it's easy calories, most ideal, or nutritionally dense, but ticks the box. Back for morning coaching. And that's the start of week 2. Oh, I need a minute. That was tough. Real threshold stuff, like real mindset, as in the stuff that I know I can do. It's usually the mindset side of things, feeling sorry for yourself, that would slow you down. But I had targets to achieve, as many rounds as possible in 3 minutes, 30 double unders and 10 toes to bar. And the goal was to get at least 3 rounds, which I did every time, with a minute's rest. You would then go into another round wrap of 3 minutes, 30 double unders again, and 10 burpee pulls, which are drastically slower. The goal of that was to get at least 2 rounds every time, and I did that as well. But I have the heavier rope than conventional RX ropes are. I bought one a while ago, my thin one snapped, and I've just been using it since. And there is definitely a fatigue which creeps in just from the weight, which of course is having that shoulder capacity effect and forcing adaptation, just reducing the speed that the more lightweight rope would achieve. But there's benefits in everything. I now have the 12 PM class, a 1-to-1, and then I'll get my second session of the day done, which will be weightlifting into another spicy one. Yeah, and one more. Yeah. All right, session 2 begins. 3 sets of a primer to begin with, 3 hang muscle cleans into 3 hang power cleans to parallel, making sure the bar doesn't crash in the shoulders, and then 3 tall cleans. Just working on speed on the bar, not too heavy, priming for heavier lifts. Speed under was there. We're now going to build to essentially a heavy single in a 90% rep of a squat clean, but we'll do some waves of that first. We'll go 3, 2, 1, then a couple of 2s, and then 1s all the way to 90%, if all is moving well. So let's see. Coming back over that, there's some early arm bends, so I'm going to try and iron that out in this one. Go for this last one. Snappy, strong, aggressive. That one short, so that was supposed to be 10 rounds, 10 dumbbell bench at 30 kilos, 2 legless rope climbs, 7 hang power cleans at 75 kilos, and after 5 rounds the 2 legless rope climbs were dropped to 1. Had to be done by 2 minutes 30 each round with 1 minute's rest. I did 8 rounds, and then towards the end it felt a little bit like trash volume, and sometimes CrossFit is guilty of that, giving you just a bit more volume than your body should actually tolerate, where you're kind of bordering on muscular failure, which isn't really helpful for training in general. So cut it at 8. Maybe this is the decision of the maturer athlete. Nearly done. When I first started my gym going experience, it would be summarized as push-ups and sit-ups in my bedroom. I got myself up to doing 300 push-ups in an evening, and that was most evenings. I do nothing close to that right now, which is reflected in what you're about to see. So it's not all glitz and glam, sometimes it's about convenience. I'm home for an evening meal, which is resorting to a Perform meal from Coles, which is a protein-based meal, and some homemade fries. It's like a buttered chicken dish, nothing too shabby. And then these, which I am quite proud of, baked in the air fryer. Salt, pepper, paprika, and garlic. Bon appetit. Wednesday is here and the classes have started. 5:30 a.m. is my first class. We're up and running. Time for a big day. Try and squeeze the training in where I can between classes. Also got a bit of work to do between that as well.
Last round, going in 5, 2, 1, let's go!
It is that time indeed. It is time to be caffeinated. And I might say it often, but coming from England, where we have these typically grey skies most of the year, and we dream of having blue skies for some of the year, this just never gets old. It just always helps the mood, brightens the day, quite literally. And then you get places that look as cool as this. Caffeinated, time to train. I'm gonna squeeze in my weightlifting session before my next class starts in about 45 minutes. We're against the clock, let's go. Time to move some barbell. We are going 5 sets, 3 high hang power snatch to a parallel into a tempo overhead squat and 3 snatch balances. 5 sets, 5 out of 10, just building comfortability in these ranges. Its intended effect on moving snappy. Now you on to the main work. Snatch deadlift to a 2-second pause below the knee, and 1 more snatch deadlift to a 2-second pause above the knee, and then a full snatch in the squat, pausing for 2 seconds in the bottom. Building up to 80%-ish. Alright, last one, the money maker. The goal is to catch this flush, which is going to mean my arms need to stay straight until contact, or loose until contact, with a big shrug, a direct pull. Time for squats. and that was rough. But again, it's that real feel of the standard that I'm trying to hold to head into semi-finals or Torian. And that was, for time, 25 snatches. I went for power snatch at 80 kilos into 50 box jump overs and 100 wall balls to finish. 60-minute time cap, and I just got in with 30 seconds left. I didn't prime the snatch well enough at all. I didn't warm up again after classes properly. I failed probably 7 or 8 reps. Small details like not locking out properly, not having enough leg drive. And then I kind of had a word with myself, and then I got like 15, 16 reps with no failures after that. So it's clear that in those kind of ranges, it's all about how well you focus, how well you remember your technique, because there comes a point when strength alone can't get you there, which is what I found out. So that took probably 2 or 3 minutes longer than it should have, just the snatches alone, which then ate into the end of the workout. 50 box jump overs, I can do those all day. The wall balls, after all that, of course, is the test. But at that point, it's about how much you want to hang on. I did 30, 20, 20, 30. That last 30 was a grind. But again, wall balls are something I can push. One more piece to do today, but I don't think I'll have enough time to get it done. Kind of good with after the work I've just done today, with letting myself just have those workouts and not feel the need or the pressure to get that second workout done today. There's always another day for it. Next class, home for food, evening classes.
And when it hits, it sticks. This is the same breakfast I'm having as last week. Bacon, the hash brown, the eggs, brown sauce on bread. Good amount of calories after expending quite a lot of calories during training, at least with how much I was sweating. But of course, I now need to fuel for a further 3 hours of evening coaching. So, bon appetit.
So I have my Thursday morning personal training session with Retta, who is a lady who I'm helping to recover from her back problems. Obviously, I'm far from a chiropractor. People who start CrossFit are presented with this rather uncommon opportunity that CrossFit will not let you get away with movement inadequacies or activation problems or symmetries not lining up right in the way your body moves. So like the way your core activates, your tightnesses in your hips or whatever it is lets you move in general. At some point that will give you the feedback that is telling you to either stop what you're doing or seek assistance and amend the problem. It happens so often in the sport. People get injuries all the time. I've had injuries. I don't get that many. I'll get my feedback, I'll get pain, and I'll respond to that straight away. I'll either take initial pull back, I will remedy, I'll start attacking what the area of pain, tightness, whatever relief needs to come. A lot of people will probably ignore the feedback they're getting. The body hits breaking point, and then that's when we get these more serious injuries like a muscle tear, inflammatory response through the elbow or the shoulder or whatever it is. You then need to seek a physio or a myotherapist who's going to put you on this 6 to 8 week corrective course when you could have avoided it in the first place if you listen to the feedback and started taking your own corrective actions. And because I am rather passionate about that, you'll see the way in my content that I do place an emphasis on showing that side of fitness in general. It looks a little bit like bodybuilding, but it's not always, and it's always from the preventative approach, I guess, from a functional bodybuilding perspective. I suspect that that's the way my journey may mature to at some point or another. Let's be honest, none of us are getting any younger. I'm not exactly going to turn off this idea of exercising someday, but we are going to have to force this need to adapt and take care of the bodies as you get a bit older, because there is an interesting fact that, or a statistic that I was told, that within each decade of your life, that is the percentage of your training split which needs to comprise of securing and strengthening your mobility. So in your 40s, your mobility percentage or your recovery percentage needs to be 40%, 50s, 50%, and as we get older, we need to prioritize how well we move more than anything, basically. Time for coffee.
Alrighty.
Yeah, can I get 2 regular flat whites, 1 with almond milk, please?
Yeah, sure thing, just in the medium size there.
Yes, please. First class of the day done, and I am now in recovery mode. I do have the luxury of the
Normatec boots, which I do try to get into maybe once a week, and it's something I probably don't give myself enough of a priority for. High step count that I make throughout my days just through how active I am from coaching and getting around the gym floor and training. My calves take a lot of the slack. They ache quite a lot, significantly more than usual, especially if I'm doing double unders. These are a fantastic tool for assisting with that. I remember when I first got here in Melbourne, I was working as like labouring jobs in hotels, fitting furniture and stuff like that, so again on my feet all day, and I would turn up to here to do my coaching and my feet would be killing me, but I'd sit in these boots and I'll be right as rain. If you have the luxury of being able to access Normatec boots, they are a very welcomed addition to the training. After that, I'm going to go for a run, which is something I've been putting off only because my watch has been broken. I'm waiting on a new one. I like the metrics that I stick to with my running, whether that is heart rate, pacing, that kind of stuff. But I'm realizing it's getting closer and closer to Torian, and I'm not doing enough running in general. So we're finally off and running. It's not t-shirt weather, less than that. But the goal is to do around 5k. It's about 2.5 down to the beach and in Port Melbourne and then back. But the goal being to not really push the exertion any higher than I'm doing right now, which is the conversational pace, holding the nasal breathing where possible, just getting the mileage in, or kilometers in. But there you have it, 2.5k, lovely day. It's pretty weird having this as a luxury, which I've probably not made the most of, as summer's been and gone, but clearly still hanging on. And I was actually having a conversation with people at the gym just now, and I was like, is this really what autumn is like? And like I said, I've been here in Melbourne for 6 years, and the summer that we just had and that is hanging on is the best that he's experienced since he's been here. So it seems like we picked a hell of a year to bring it down to Melbourne. A little jog onto the sand, because why not? It's been a good while since I had a jog along the beach to take that in. Kind of quiet, people probably still at work, and somehow I get to factor this into my job. Dream is the reality. All finished up for the evening, and that's a pretty cool backdrop. Some high rises like that to finish the day. Tomorrow's a new day.
Good. 1. Save again. Fast. Go. Yeah. Yeah.
Supply to beat.
Doing a 3-2-1, 3-2-1, 3-2-1-1-1. The percentages will increase each time, and this is more just a chance to work on barbell cycling, but efficiency of the reps. We'll do the same on power snatch, we'll do the same on power cleans. Then some pendulum row, then that is lifting done for today.
Supply to beat.
Snatch felt grindy, it always does first thing, and now I move on to the bread and butter, which is the power clean, which is where I'll probably look a lot more comfortable. Let's wave now, 3-2-1, 1-1.
Supply to beat.
That was everything and more. Cardio session to round off the morning grind. 8 working sets, which were all centered around discipline and how much you want to push, maintain targets. All cardio. 20 calories on the row, 15 calories on the echo bike, and 10 shuttle runs of 50 feet in distance, 25 feet twice. Every 5 minutes for a total of 8 sets, where the challenge was repeatability. My first 2 sets are my slowest, and then every set was around about 3 minutes, a couple of seconds below,
and even faster on the final set. The goal was to start well, and then from halfway you were going to get feedback from the legs. This was going to get harder, that you were supposed to start feeling something that would make you want to slow down, that burning sensation. And these were the session notes which I checked over. I'm glad I did before the session began, because if you didn't know that was the stimulus, it's going to get hard. And this is all centered around what you do when it gets hard, how well you hold your pacing. Most people are going to then drop their pacing at that point. I wanted to slow down, but realized that that is what the feeling is. Find that feeling, hold it, push through it, and then try to recover between sets. With about 2 minutes worth of rest between the sets, I was really focusing on nasal breathing to try to calm down the nervous system, calm down the breathing, which would allow me to start my sets with a solid hard burst for the first 10 to 15 seconds, relying on that sprint energy system, and then calming down to hold my solid pacing. And that is it. Weightlifting and cardio to start the day. I'm gonna chill for a bit. I will be going on my laptop, having my kind of second breakfast, a good amount of calories, and then this afternoon I'll get my second session done, which is a bigger, kind of longer Metcon feel. Be me done for the Friday session. A little bit earlier than normal. I've had a PT this morning. I get to do the rest of my day free from the gym, which is a nice feeling to not need to be in the gym all day. For as much as someone who loves being in the gym, I don't love being in there all day. There's a life to live outside of that.
Sublime to beat.
Last one of the day, bunch of gymnastics, bunch of capacity, upside down work. Tough one, but good one. 3 rounds, 90 seconds rest in between rounds, so each round was for time. The goal to be done in 2:30 or less was 30 GHD sit-ups, which is something I'm obviously trying to improve capacity on, doing them last week as well. Into 20 hang alternating dumbbell snatch, into 10 handstand push-ups. Handstand push-ups strict, which is something I can always back myself on. Did those unbroken each time, and each set was done at around about 2:15. Then got 3 minutes rest, and then the workout got a bit harder for me, and probably will for most, where we had a 14 minutes time cap to get through 3 rounds 4 time with no rest in between, 30 calories on the ski, which is something I probably need to be doing more work on. I just got fucking weak. Good on the road, good on the bike. Ski probably is going to take more work. I guess we have identified a further weakness to be working on. Into 20 dumbbell burpees over the dumbbell, which is just a steady grind. That's more capacity of your conditioning at that point. And then the skill work, the real tester, is 10 deficit kipping handstand push-ups to a 6-inch deficit, which I incorrectly measured and gave myself an 8-inch deficit. So I made it a little bit harder for myself, but that's where I can really challenge myself to push against people, because I would back myself on any version of handstand work. Good capacity, I've got good range, and I've got good pressing strength. That is the work done for today. What a day for it, as you can see. It's outside the gym. Very nice. Up to now, just feel a bit depleted, I guess. I did eat well before this one, so my energy levels didn't drop too much. It was just more capacity towards the end. So it is now time to eat and get on with the rest of the day. So today isn't now centering around training. I can now get myself out of the gym. It's definitely just stood up a little bit too fast. I feel lightheaded. Solid day's training, done.
Saturday morning lifting. In the more constrictive side of my week, trying to get all the things I want to do done in a day. So I have 3 hours coaching this morning, 7 till 10, team training after that. And it's usually harder because I sometimes have one-to-one sessions to get the remaining of my Saturday training in. So I've had to get up earlier today. I got to the gym just before 6 just to get some lifting in beforehand. I wish it felt as good as it did in the evening. supposed to do team training today, but we've got 2 people who are out of action. Maddie is unwell, Cam is away. It's a training week and it comprises this weekend. So it is left to training of our own devices. 2 of us train on opposite sides of the city, me, myself and Dina. To save time and logistics, we're just doing our own thing today. My session feels like it's going to be a good one. The sun is shining, it's only going to get hotter, so the sooner I get the session done, the sooner I avoid how hot this gym can get. Ring muscle ups to start, just to prime, see how the strict is working, and then I have a Metcon for today, which is a spicy one. A little bit of snatch work, and then if I feel like it, a further Metcon, which is targeting a big weakness of mine in the volume-based, moderately heavy overhead squats. Let's get into it.
1, 2, beat.
Spicy on the shoulders. I swapped the toaster bar in for GHDs, and that had a cumulative effect on the shoulders, which got even more spicy on the handstand wall facing push-ups, which I probably underestimated myself on. First 3 sets, I split them into 2 sets. The last 2 sets, I just tried to see what an unbroken set felt like on the 4th set, and it flew. I then knew I could do that on the last set, which is very telling of ability. It gives me further data that I can use down the line, knowing that I can trust myself in further capacities in my handstand push-ups. But you've got to grow a set and learn to try and push yourself and take risks. We learned something. And now going back to some weightlifting to work on a movement I've had great success on over the past few months, and that is the socks press. Arguably the most technically demanding in the sport of weightlifting, which requires a great deal of mobility in the ankles, the hips, the thoracic spine, the overhead position. When I first started this movement, I could not even do it with an empty barbell. I was tight, I had limited ranges, I worked on them, and it's now opened up positions which allow me to do this movement quite well. I've achieved a 60 kilo personal best so far, and I want to get that to a 70, but today I'm just working up to a moderately heavy 3. You'll see on that first rep the way I kind of raised from that bottom position slightly, and that was because I wasn't exactly opening my hips enough to sit deep into the squat. The second 2 I did do that, and that's when the reps looked a bit better. 45 kilos now, I'm going to try and do the same thing with the hips from the off, and hopefully make each rep look as smooth as those last 2 did. Changed the plan up for part B of today. I'm instead going for a workout I wanted to do earlier in the week, which is 2 10-minute AMRAPs separated with a 5 minutes rest. First AMRAP, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, get as high as you can in 10 minutes of ring muscle ups, and between each ring muscle up set, it is 2 lengths of a 15 feet double dumbbell front rack lunge. After that, rest 5 minutes, then we go 3, 6, 9, 12, ascending in 3s, deadlifts at 143 kilos, and a 15-foot twice handstand walk. Goal is to get, I think, at least 6 rounds into each, so we'll see how we do.
1, 2, beat.
Well, that one was rough. What's interesting, and I found myself hitting almost revelations as I've been doing it, is I'm getting these workouts done which are increasingly difficult to achieve the targets, which I am almost downplaying my ability, thinking that I'm not doing enough to hit the targets, or I'm getting just close enough, you know, I should be comfortably within targets, all that kind of stuff. But that is exactly where this part of training is supposed to be. This is the highest level of training, demands, and ability that I've ever asked from my training. It's not supposed to be easy. I'm supposed to earn it. So this fighting point, it's like almost that beginner feel. I'm obviously not a beginner, but the challenge of being able to rise to the challenge is the becoming. That's where the becoming is the process, where it's not supposed to be given. It's not supposed to be easy from the off. And granted, there are some that I feel like I've performed well on, but I'm supposed to feel like it's an uphill challenge on most of the work I'm supposed to do from here. That's the point. You rise to the challenge and you see what it gives you on competition day. If all I get is wins from here on out, all I'm ever going to think I'm doing is winning. I'm not. You're never always winning. There's always challenges to overcome. There's always, in the game of fitness especially, you're never the fittest in the world. The challenge just always gets harder. You get fitter, but it doesn't mean that the work gets easier. The work then increases as a result of your fitness. I'm doing the hardest work I've ever done. I now get to allow myself the reward of knowing what I've put in to get myself to this point to allow me to rise to that challenge. It's a good day's work. Hand it all off now. I'm about to close the gym up. It's all empty. There's no more music playing. Morning training, 3 classes. PM training, 1-to-1. Done. Gym closed up. I'm ready to go and eat a lot and enjoy the rest of the weekend. We are in for a warm one. Guess what? I had big plans for this week, 5 big training days with a run sprinkled in there. And Sunday rolled around. I had done all the work I wanted to do from a fitness perspective, but it turns out the other work I've been neglecting on my business side of life had been sleeping down more than I would like. So I found myself locked in from my laptop from the early hours of this morning. Didn't take my eyes off since, in a bid to clear my headspace because the anxiety was creeping up of just how much work I'd allowed myself to slip and needed to get done. Sunday session didn't happen, but I can still look at the positives. 4 great sessions this week and also a run session in this adaptation phase when I'm definitely increasing the volume my body is taking on. So why not take this as a silver lining that I can have 2 rest days and an active recovery day, and I'll have 1 more tomorrow before my week of training starts. It's all good. So if I'm going to recap how this week went, I would say I'm definitely happy with the work I'm putting in individually. Of course, I would like to get that extra day done. That will probably happen next week as Cam is going to join me on the Sunday session, so we'll have the accountability of always being there for each other, which is going to aid our performance in the competition that we have coming up very soon. As a pair, just myself and Cam in a males double competition, and then us leading up to the Torian Pro. In terms of team training, that didn't happen this week because we had 2 team members out of action. So me, myself, Dina, we both take Saturday classes working on opposite sides of the city on a Saturday. It didn't feel like it was something that we could make happen to then get good training sessions in, so we both decided to train of our own accord. In the grand scheme of things, as a team, we probably haven't taken the steps that we needed to as that collective unit working together, but individually, we're definitely all doing the right things. I'm really enjoying this journey. People seemingly understanding how much work is going into it. From a training sense, how that's ramped up, there's people always encouraging, whether it's in the videos or in person, just wishing good luck or showing support that they might even come to the event. This is proving to be such a wholesome journey, even from such an early part of the journey. Just over 2 months and we are there, so 2 more months to enjoy this. I'm not sure what comes after, but for now, we are definitely going to keep on the right tracks of building to whatever we can achieve at the Torian Pro. Week 2 in the bag. Thanks for watching. Show the support, subscribe if you haven't already, and I very much appreciate the love in the videos so far. I will be sure to keep them coming. If there's anything else you'd like to see, be sure to let me know.